Okay, I'm going to try to provide a little bit of history on this music box. It's been in my wife's family for a long time. Um, Her mother said it belonged to my wife's grandmother, so her mother knows of it going back, say, to the 1930s or so. I'm sure it's older than that. I've only identified one song on there so far. That's the Washington Postmarch, which was written in 1898, so it's not any older than that. A little bit about this box is the cylinder itself is about 8 inches long, and about 2 inches in diameter. The comb here, this is the little tines that make the music. There's 55 teeth. It's a one-piece comb, and it looks to be in very good condition. There's only one tip of that tooth is missing, so that one won't sound as the notes go, but you don't really seem to notice it much. And I suppose there's dampers underneath these pins that I don't quite understand how they function, but those are probably have some problems over time. I put this little green tape on here just so you could see as it rotates around. Let's see. Oh, yes, this does play 8 separate tunes. There's a ratcheting mechanism in here that basically at the end of each tune, if you have this lever set in, I have it out right now, it works on this ratchet and pushes the cylinder over a fraction of an inch. And then these comb teeth align with another set of pins on here. So there's actually 8 songs with each one next to each other. I'll try to zoom in later. I don't know if you can see here, but there are lines on these on the cylinder. So there's 8 songs between those lines from one line to the next. This is apparently a stop here. I had to adjust that. As it gets pushed over, I think they put this there so that it can't go further, although there's a spring there to hold it, but maybe just when you're moving it. So I'll have to zoom out a little bit, but there's a crank here on the side, a quarter turn for each song. So what I've been doing when I recorded it earlier, well, first I tried recording it, and it seemed to be playing very slow, and like when a lot of notes would play, it would almost stop. So I found I was winding it more and more. So I finally decided, no, this doesn't seem right. So I did try oiling it a little bit, and then it was running really fast, and I realized that I had really wound it up quite a bit. So I let it wind down. So for this video, what I was doing was I kind of let it wound down to where it seemed at a pretty good speed, but still would play through smoothly. And then I just wound it a quarter turn in between each one. So again, the winding mechanism through here drives this. Here's a set of gears that drive this governor, this fan, that helps control the speed somewhat. And like I said, there's a ratchet mechanism here that'll push it over to go from song to song. This little lever that I push there, that goes in and pushes, and basically when it's out, it's catching this governor fan, and when you push it in, it will move it out of the way of the governor, and then the side of the wheel comes along, and it's got like a cam surface on it that will keep it out of the way until the song ends, and then it drops in and blocks the governor fan again, so that it stops. And I don't know if there's any way to get it to just keep repeating from song to song. Oh, I did want to mention too, this is not the original case. I guess there was an accident somewhere along the line, and my father-in-law rebuilt the case. So this is something that it was put in. Don't know too much about that. Let me see if I can play some things and zoom in a bit. Just 1 second here. Now I have it set to the first song, Washington Postmarch, because I recognize that one. And I have the repeat bar off, so it'll just keep going through that. And here's the handle, wind up handle there. I think this will focus in pretty well. Get a closer look at everything. One thing that I'm interested in, if I didn't mention, I just put green tape on there to mark the top as it goes around while I was checking some things. There's also a piece here that I just can't figure out what it does. This has a spring and a ball. It's geared, so it goes, I didn't count now how many times this goes around for each circle, each revolution. But, and there's these stoppers here, but I can't for the life of me figure out what that would do. Let me play it, and maybe I can zoom in close enough here you can get a look. So there's the fan winding up. So you can see that spinning, but what that would do I have no idea. Might even be able to get a look at how this operates here. When you push the lever, this comes out, and this, since it goes out on it pushes it out onto the face of that wheel, so that it stays out of the way of the governor fan until the end of the song, and then it drops back in the hole, which allows it, or back in the groove, which allows it to go back and stop the governor again. Let's see. So there it's pushed up out of the way. So it drops into that, which causes the drop and stop the fan with this point here. So this is a ruby bushing, and now what I understand is you're not ever supposed to take this apart unless you know what you're doing. Unfortunately, I didn't do that because they said if you release the tension here without having everything unwound and disconnected, and usually in the comb off, what can happen is suddenly the whole thing just, all the spring force in there just spins this all the way through, and the comb will probably, or the pins will rip out all the comb, or the comb will rip out the pins, I guess whichever is weakest. And that'll do that. I don't know if we can get a good look at the ratchet mechanism. It's kind of buried in there. It's kind of hard to see. Probably don't have the best light here either for that. You can kind of see it here. So here's the ratchet, and there's a little pin that's got a cam face on it. So 8 steps on its face, and every time, I'm going to set the bar here now. I'm going to set it so it's not going to, so it will advance now instead of repeat. And that catches the ratchet, moves it the 1/8 turn to the next face, and the pin pushes the cylinder out closer there. In fact, you can kind of see, get the light on. You'll see, right now you can see a fair amount of space right here between the cylinder and the stop. By the time you get to the 8th song, you know, there's almost no gap there at all. Trying to think if there's anything else. I think that's pretty much all I know about this. Let's see if we can focus in on the pins a little bit. Let's see. You can get a pretty good look at those pins. Yeah, this will focus in pretty close. Just have to keep from blocking the light. There we go. I did manage to straighten some pins. I mean, there are, I guess, some broken pins, but man, I don't know that I could. Be pretty tough to count how many are missing. But I don't think it's enough to, obviously you recognize, the songs all sound good, it's not affecting it. But I don't know. I think I'm going to ask around and find out just what it would cost to have the comb. Since it is in such good shape, it might not cost much to have the comb reconditioned. And maybe have those missing pins replaced. But it's really more of sentimental value, I think. But it is a nice sounding thing. Let me play that one more time. So maybe I can try to get close to the pins while this plays. See, now it's down enough that it's not. There we go. Played it a few times without winding, so it's playing a little slower now. I gave it 3/4 of a wind. Oh, but it's on advanced now, so it's going to be a different song. Should also mention that quite a few of these teeth are tuned to the same note. And they do that, I think I understand, they do that because it takes a while for, once a note's played, you can't play it for a while because it's still ringing. So if they try to have the same pin hit it again, I guess it would buzz a lot. So for notes that are played a lot in sequence, they have multiple. I think some of these are as many as 4 on the same note. So it's not like a piano keyboard. There's only, they take the 8 songs, they figure out what notes they need to play those 8 songs, and they're not reproducing every note. So you couldn't just put, if you replace a cylinder, you can't just play any song. It's really a matter of it being set per the types of songs they wanted to play. A lot of these combs are just unique to that box. So that's a tour of the music box that's in our family.